Hi, everyone. It's Bob Perkins with AAISP's Inside Sales Studio, bringing you a special edition of the Monday Morning Sales Minute. I'm here with Nick Breedlove. Nick, how are you doing today?
Great, Bob. Thanks.
It's good to have you. Now, Nick is a very special guest. He's actually a co-founder of a company called Tech Qualled, and it's a company that prepares and trains veterans to get into the workforce. I'm so excited to have him today because our latest research in inside sales, and this is not new to you if you're a leader or a hiring manager out there, we have a big challenge to add positions. And I think there's more demand than we have people to fill. And I know, speaking with a lot of leaders, sometimes you're actually bringing on interns who are currently in college and converting those interns. But whatever you're doing to solve this problem, there's still a big need to add headcount and to hire qualified people. And today we're going to talk about something which I feel is very important. That is the opportunity we have to consider hiring veterans. Nick, yourself, you're still currently serving in the Navy. I know you're a graduate of Annapolis, the Naval Academy. Give us just a little bit about your background, if you would.
I will, Bob. Yeah, I grew up in Texas, always wanted to be a Navy pilot, so went to the Naval Academy. That was the only way to do it in my mind. Graduated 2001, got to fulfill my dream, flew helicopters for 3 or 4 years in Guam, and then was an instructor pilot in the same aircraft in San Diego for about the same amount of time, and then I transitioned, flew Boeing 737s for the Navy for about 7 years after that in Jacksonville, Florida, and Fort Worth. So culminated in about 14 years in the cockpit. It was great. And I have transitioned off active duty and am loving what I'm doing as a co-founder at Tech Qualled, trying to help other transitioning veterans get into the sales world.
That's fantastic. First of all, thank you for your service to our country. We really appreciate that. We've had a number of military, both active, inactive, retired military speak at our conferences. But what you're doing to help veterans is critical. And I want to talk to you today, not so much about what you're doing, and we'll mention that a little bit later in this conversation, but talk about why, if I have a workforce of, say, 100 inside salespeople, I need to hire 20 more in 2017, which 70% of the people are actually going to be hiring. Why might I consider a veteran as a potential hire? Can you sort of paint the picture for us?
Absolutely, Bob. So you take a veteran, we won't even talk about rank. It could be enlisted officer, but somebody who served from 18 or 20 years old till maybe 25 to 30 years old, they have had life experiences that really changed their perspective on leadership, on teamwork, and on just interaction, on problem solving. And so you add some intangibles to the basic skill set of an individual, and they're transitioning off. They're looking for their next career outside the military, but they bring things which most people think a military veteran brings: reliability, discipline, motivation, drive. But now you have other things like leadership and excellent teamwork ability, diversity of thought to a problem-solving environment, which is the solution sale for sure. Mm-hmm. And so, not everybody understands sales. Not everybody wants to be in sales or has the drive for that meritocratic environment. They have the resilience to get back up again and keep on knocking on the door. Mm-hmm. But the ones that do, a lot of them don't understand that there's any more than car sales out there. And so that's where I think so many companies who most of their revenue is in the B2B sales world, they have got to open their aperture a little bit to veterans who have those intangibles. And if they just knew how rewarding a job could be and how many of these people want to be customer facing, they would really want to expand and create a new leg in the stool with veterans as that kind of person.
That's great. Some of those qualities you just mentioned, some of the skills that you mentioned, as a hiring manager, we would all want to bring on people like that, right? Reliability, grit, stick to the task. Those are great things. So talk to us a little bit about what is the average veteran, if there is such a thing, exiting the military. What do they look like? What are some of the struggles they face today when looking for jobs?
Yeah, that's a pretty broad question. And thankfully, we're in an era now where there are a lot of .coms, a lot of .orgs that are trying to address that.
Mm.
I think there is no average veteran other than someone who loves their country, wanted to do something that was bigger than themselves, and now they're trying to figure out what's next in the corporate world, the commercial world, private sector, even the public sector, going back into public service, just not in the military. Who we focus on, though, Bob, are the people that have that attitude and aptitude for success in tech sales. So people that have those intangibles I listed, but maybe they don't understand anything about high tech or about sales or about both, and what that B2B sales process looks like. So we're trying to find the people with those intangibles. Then we're going to train them up, and we're going to introduce them to the companies who want that new leg in the stool. They want that diversity of thought, but also those intangibles they know a veteran has, like reliability and teamwork and drive, et cetera, so that they're ready to plug in and be an effective seller on day one to affect the bottom line.
Well, you mentioned the word train, right? So that's another huge challenge. Today's hiring managers are oftentimes hiring recent college graduates that, you mentioned it, really don't know a lot about technology, don't know a lot about sales, but the companies are taking it upon themselves to train these folks to get them up to speed. Now, that's the unique thing that Tech Qualled does. In fact, you're going to be out at the Leadership Summit in just a week in Chicago. I know you're going to sit on a panel for recruiting and hiring, but you're going to have some presence there as one of the sponsors in the Tech Expo, so people can come talk to you about this veteran thing. But the cool thing about Tech Qualled is you actually take veterans, you screen them, qualify them to those that could get into technology sales, and then you train them. Just take a minute, if you would, Nick, and talk about that process, and tell us the readiness of your school graduates to come in and maybe take a technology or even any inside sales position.
Absolutely. I think you nailed it. The first value prop is that we're qualifying them for the attributes to be successful in high-tech sales. The second part, though, is the training them. And it's very robust, but it's very specific, Bob. It's just for B2B sales and just for high tech. So we're training them for about 5 weeks virtually as they transition off active duty on the technologies in the space, everything from cloud and IoT to networking and cybersecurity. After that, we're training them by role play with retired sales leaders, with active sales leaders across the country on the actual process, everything from prospecting, qualifying, to negotiating and closing. That happens all day, every day for several weeks, so that the final the final result, as you were saying, is these people are ready to go for your organization on day one. They come prepared with 30, 60, 90-day plan. We're going to mentor them for another year, but they don't need warm accounts. They are ready to go. They know how the process works. They know the technologies. They're ready to sit down and go forth and conquer.
Well, you got me excited, right? So we're gonna wind down here on this interview, but if you're an AISP member, you're going to be in Chicago, I think you owe it to yourself, especially, I know 70% of you are hiring because you told us that. Get out to see Nick, talk to him about really how to hire at that, right? How to work with their firm to find a good, well-trained veteran that can, number one, add some diversity to your workforce. But number two, it supports the fact that these individuals have given up so much time and themselves really to support our country in an important way. Now they're looking to continue their career. What a great opportunity we have. Nick, I'm so glad that we met each other here just a couple short weeks ago, and that the association really wants to support what you're doing around preparing vets. We thank you for that. Nick, we look forward to seeing you in Chicago next week.
I look forward to it, Bob. Thanks for everything you're doing and for having me on the show today.
You bet. Thanks, everyone. Until next time on this show, everyone, good selling. Hope to see you in Chicago.